And we go from offense to pitching split, which is a great segue for Gilgamesh because last year he got hardly any offense at all. So I'm sure he's thrilled about all the support the offense has been giving the pitchers.
Well, it's been giving it to everybody else. He hasn't necessarily gotten it, but you look at Gil's performances since the All-Star break, he's only had 3 games where he's given up more than 2 earned runs. So almost regardless of the run support that he gets, he'll have his team in the game, but you'd like to see him get enough runs that he'd have a chance to win it if he can get it into the late innings. Gil has been terrific the second half of the season. Kind of struggled his last time out against the Cleveland Indians, one of his rougher starts of the second half, but maybe he bounces back here tonight. He pitched well early in the year against Cleveland. He's had great fastball, good tight breaking ball, and effective changeup most of the last 3 months.
And putting together his best personal numbers since, well, 5 years ago when he was pitching for tonight's opponent, the Seattle Mariners.
That's a younger-looking Gilgamesh in the Seattle Mariner uniform, now in his second year with the Royals. You see the run support here in Kansas City, not quite what he got with Seattle. The Seattle Ball Club's pretty good offensive teams when he was out there, but his earned run average is a whole lot better here in KC.
The Mariner who's given him the toughest time in the 2 years with the Royals is Ichiro Suzuki. He's given a lot of American League pitchers a bad time, so how Gil pitches Suzuki might reflect how he does against the Mariners. Of course, Suzuki is coming up on 200 hits. First pitch is next. Shows in prime time every week. Time Warner Cable is the home of free HD. Here's the Seattle Mariners at the moment struggling. Starting lineup presented by M&I Bank.
Top 5 guys remain the same, with Suzuki leading things off. Betancourt, Ibanez, Fowler, then it's Lopez, Reed, then Valentin, Turiasa, Sopo, Joe Jimenez behind the plate. Valbuena is the second baseman. He's a youngster and a first-year player.
And former Mariner Gilgamesh, here's the Rico report.
Well, Gil really good from May on through August. Good earned run average, 1-1 so far here in the month of September. Of course, got off to the tough start in early April. His career numbers in September normally very good. Let's see if he has a good outing here tonight.
That's maybe a not so subtle statistic for a guy who's a power pitcher that one of his best months is the final month of the season, that he's not losing steam once you get to the 6th month.
A lot of times guys pick up steam if they're a power pitcher because the weather tends to cool down. Of course, that wasn't the case in Seattle. It's normally cool all year round out there.
Ichiro Suzuki 2 for 8 in this series, which leaves him 3 hits shy of another 200 hit season. It would be a major league record tying 8 consecutive 200 hit seasons to begin a career. Wee Willie Keeler, back in the late 1800s, 1894 to be exact, through 1901, is the first and only major leaguer to have 200 hit seasons in their first 8. And because of that, all kinds of Japanese media trying to capture the historical moment. And Suzuki, I'm sure, feeling pretty good about maybe threatening that tonight. He has fantastic numbers against Gil Mesh in the 2 years since Gil has left the Mariners and joined the Royals. Instead, he'll take a walk to open the game. So the leadoff man on, and now we take a look at the Royals defense tonight, brought to you by Dodge.
Jose Guillen is back in the lineup tonight. He's in right field. This is Jesus Herman in center and left. The infield has Tien at third base. Aviles is the shortstop. Alberto Callaspo, playing well recently, is at second base. Ryan Shealy's back at first. It's John Buck behind the plate.
That brings up Yuniesky Betancourt. 1 for 7 with a run scored so far in the series. And if the Mariners want to try something here against Mesh in the first inning, great speed at first with Suzuki, second in the league with 42 stolen bases and a pretty good bat control man at the plate. On one hand, you can look at Yuniesky Betancourt, and ever since he's been a Mariner, it seems like he's been the number 8 or number 9 hitter. Well, batting second with a .271 average, but that's not all his doing. The Mariners have been a huge disappointment on offense this year.
Adrian Beltre, normally in the middle of their lineup. He's out for the rest of the year. He's had both shoulder and thumb surgery. Richie Sexton was expected to bolster the heart of their lineup. They let him go early in the year. He went on to play for the Yankees, lasted there for about a week and a half. Now back as a free agent. Their top 3 is really pretty good, with Ichiro in the leadoff spot. Betancourt been a pretty solid second hitter, and Ibanez has been red hot. That's until this series. Raul doesn't have a hit here against the Royals this week, but he has had a terrific season. You run those 3 guys out there, you got a chance to score in the first inning every night.
Suzuki not running, and Betancourt drives an 0-2 pitch into left field. So here's that opportunity to score in the first inning. 2 on, nobody out for Raul Ibanez. Great night to be outside at the ballpark. And after tonight, the Royals have just 4 home games left. 77 degrees. Not a single cloud in sight. Nothing but a beautiful blue sky. Started on time at 7:10. Official time and temperature presented by the parking spot at KCI.
Brian is starting to get hot again. It was 66 degrees at first pitch in game 1. 75 here last night. We need to get back to the golf shirts.
How about tomorrow?
Okay.
All right.
You talked me into it.
Well, Split, you mentioned that Ibanez hasn't done anything against the Royals in this series. 0 for 7. But against the Royals all season long, 3 out of 28, which is a huge departure from what Ibanez did to the Royals when he first went to Seattle.
Ibanez has had a terrific year overall. Probably his best month was the month of August. In fact, talking to Lee Elia before the start of tonight's game, he said by himself he won a half a dozen games in August, just single-handedly, putting the club on his back and carrying him on through. He had a stretch where he had 31 RBIs in 30 games. Cooling off a little bit in this series.
Takes a fastball down the middle for Mesh. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
And anytime a guy cools off that much, there's usually a reason behind it. And he's hanging it all on Jeff Davenport, the director of team travel and clubhouse operations for the Royals. Went over to see Davy at the start of this series. He was red hot coming in. Hadn't gotten a sniff of a base hit since. So there's usually a reason, and he's got that reason.
Interesting. So Davey's a bit of a Royals secret weapon, is what you're saying.
I'm thinking about what all those guys Davey didn't get to this year.
Well, you hope that word doesn't spread and that the Royals don't pick up on that and stay away from his office. Although Davey might not mind that.
Raul's having a little fun for the game tonight. Slammed his glove down and said that'll never happen again. And he's still over. That's a pretty good pitch by Mesh. When Gill is on, that little cut fastball is usually his best pitch to right-handers. Maybe not as effective against the lefties because some of those guys are good low ball hitters. There's the curveball there. That has been good for Gill this entire second half.
And now Jose Lopez, another one of those Mariners hitters like Betancourt that is batting in a spot not because he's necessarily a natural for that spot, but because there's a need, batting 4th. He was the number 2 hitter. Runners go on the first pitch. Buck's going to throw down a second, trying to get Betancourt on the backside. And Betancourt and Suzuki both move up on a double steal. That's 43 for Suzuki and 3 for Betancourt. That seemed like the right choice.
John Buck gives this a pretty good effort right here. Had a decent pitch to handle. It's up in the strike zone. Has a couple of choices right here. Sees the lead base runner has a terrific jump. That's his best chance there with Betancourt. Close but safe at second base.
So second and third with 1 out. And the Royals will play Sheely and Tien at the corners, even with the bags, not all the way in the middle of the infield back. So trade a ground ball base hit for an out, but instead it's going to be a 2-run single for Jose Lopez. So batting in the number 4 spot, doing what a cleanup hitter does, and drives in 2 to give Seattle a first inning lead.
Ryan, you mentioned not only hitting in the middle of the batting order, but also playing first base. The first 3 games of this series is a second baseman by trade. His first start at first base was Sunday afternoon against the Los Angeles Angels, so he's found himself there the last 4 days. They're just looking at options for next year. What can this team look like next year, depending on what they can do in the offseason? Wanted to find out. They knew he could play second base. Wanted to see how he could do over at first. He's done okay so far.
Well, we don't know what their entire plan is for next year, but I don't think it's a good sign when you're trying a second baseman out at first base. I mean, sure, you're getting a look at him, but a true second baseman is someone that would have some great range, and now he's running and should be out by a mile. He got no jump on what was supposed to be a hit and run. So Buck guns down Lopez after Reed failed to make contact.
No jump there at all. You want to make sure that pitcher is going home with the pitch. You don't want to go into first base. You're expecting some coverage and contact right there. Reed tried, but that fastball well out of the strike zone. You want to at least be able to foul that pitch off. That gives that catcher too good a chance to gun down a base runner.
And now behind on a fastball. 0-2 on Jeremy Reed, who has 2 RBIs in the series for Seattle. Mariners have only scored 3 runs in the first 2 games. And that's into the seats off the left field line. Mesh trying to extend in this series what Kyle Davies began on Monday and Brandon Duckworth continued last night. The Mariners with 2 in the bottom, or rather top of the first inning on Jose Lopez single that has scored Suzuki and Betancourt. And a good curveball strikes out Reed, so Gill is out of the first, strikes out 2, but Seattle scores 2.
the long ball over the last week. Billy Butler's in at the DH. He'll hit fifth. Then it's Marti and John Buck. Alberto Callaspo is in the 8th spot at second base. Esteban Herman gets a start in left field tonight.
And the Rico report on left-hander Ryan Roland Smith.
He's another one of those relievers that's trying to convert into the starting rotation for the Mariners out of necessity. Had a number of guys hurt as starters this year. 25-year-old left-hander. Not going to throw as hard as last night's starter, Brandon Morrow. Morrow, hard-throwing right-hander. Roland Smith, more of a finesse lefty. The slider is more of a sweeping slurve to go along with the curveball, the straight changeup.
David DeJesus, one of the 3 Royals that homered last night off of Brandon Morrow. 7-game hitting streak coming in tonight. Royals have quite a few hot hitters. With DeJesus, 7 straight. Aviles, 8 straight. Guillen, 13 straight. And Alberto Callaspo with 10 in a row. Up the right field line, fair. So the Royals answer immediately, and David DeJesus into second base with a leadoff double. So make it 8 straight for David DeJesus.
They're trying to go away with the pitch right there, Ryan, but left it on the inner half of the plate. Look how quickly he clears that front side so he can get to that inside pitch that's about high. And watch how quickly that turns right. Landed fair. It had some of that top spin on it, so hooked off the side pads. Wanted to go to third base. When he saw Suzuki handle that ball clean in the outfield, he decided to check in at second. David with his 24th double of the season.
And now Vilas with an 8-game hitting streak. And he wants to bunt, but instead takes strike 1. Aviles 3 for 7 with a stolen base in this series. He was a guest of Joe Goldberg. Dodge Royals Live before the game tonight. And with more on that, let's talk to Joel.
Well, guys, we had Mike on. We also had his former minor league teammates, Mitch Meyer. So Mike, Mitch, as well as Devin Lowry, who's below me right now in the bullpen. And you know what happens when those old roommates get together. They can tell some stories, and they certainly did have a good time talking about that. Here's what we learned. We learned that Mitch Meyer, they say, is the meteorologist, but he doesn't really know what he's talking about. We learned that Devin is scared of planes, and we learned that Mike, with that great smile, was always the one bossing all those guys around. But they said they had a great time coming up through the system, all really excited to be here right now. And the one thing that they did agree on is that, well, first of all, they all know how to spell Ka'aihu'e. That was impressive. And they all agree that their former minor league teammate Billy Butler was always that guy to get in trouble. And they say, well, some things never change.
Thanks, Joel. And Aviles pokes it up the right field line and just foul. So trying to, at least with 2 strikes, get something to the right side. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Ryan, that's one of those situations. You get to the big leagues, and even if you've got a good career, you look back at your minor league days and you say, those were some of the best times of my life, some of the best friends that I ever made, but it's also the time that you don't ever want to go back to. Get to the big leagues, you want to stay.
And now full count on Aviles, who is down 0-2. Well, we've been talking about this for a long time. You know, the Royals just trying to get a talented group of young players to all come up at the same time, so they have that comfort level. There's that accountability to one another that begins when they're in the minor leagues. And Aviles, good situational hitting right to Valbuena at second base, and moves DeJesus over to third. 1 down in the first inning. Now let's take a look at the Mariners on defense tonight, brought to you by Dodge.
They've got some speed in their outfield with Reed in center field. It's Valentin in left. Suzuki is in right. Lopez, Valbuena on the right side of the infield. Betancourt is a solid defender at shortstop. Turiasa Sopo, good defender at third base. And Joe Jame is their catcher. Starting catcher beginning of the year. They've got some depth at that position right now, but they've also got some injuries.
Ball 1 on Jose Guillen, 13-game hitting streak. 2 hits in the game on Monday, was a late scratch in last night's game, which has a lot of people buzzing for the exact reasons why. Both Guillen and manager Trey Hillman maintaining that Jose was not fit, not feeling well to play in last night's game, and just leaving it at that. Guillen, a former Mariner, 23 home runs, 99 RBIs for Seattle last year. And Roland Smith got Guillen to chase a fastball up. That's where Jojima wanted it. Guillen just barely got a piece of it.
Left-handers have to attack Guillen inside. He's so good out over the plate when he can get that leverage and stay behind the ball. He can drive it, so they've got to make a certain amount of effort to get inside to try to tie him up. If for no other reason, not to get him out inside, but try to then pitch him away. There you see Jojima setting up, even elevating his catching stance, trying to give that pitcher a good target.
Less than half the time he's gotten the runner home from third base. That's into the seats off the left field line. First time that Guillen has faced Ryan Roland Smith. They played together last year. Handful of Royals facing him for the first time, and the Royals that have seen him, only Mark Teahan has had more than 2 plate appearances. Curveball got the inside corner. Guillen knew it. That swing was very late. So 2 down in the first inning.
That swing right there was if I was going to swing at that curveball, I'd want to do it just about like that.
Is that a called third strike or is that a swinging strike?
I think it was called the first time around.
Okay.
And it was so good, he's going to go ahead and throw that same pitch here to lead off the next hitter.
And now Ryan Sheely homered for the 5th time last night. Trying to pick up the Royals after Guillen doesn't get De Jesus home. He's going to take a base hit. Sheely batting .371 since his recall. Really tied up with that pitch, and Lopez right at the bag gets Sheely, and the Royals leave De Jesus at third base. 2-0 Seattle at the end of 1.
Create your own baseball collectible using your own photos. It's easy. Simply upload your photo, choose a product and design, and place your order. Choose from a wide variety of official MLB photo gift products from every Major League Baseball team. Prints, mugs, magnets, mouse pads, clocks, coasters, and more. Create a collectible you will cherish for years to come. Go to the photo store on MLB.com. In 3 easy steps, you can make your very own MLB memory. Go to the photo store on MLB.com today.
For Gil Mesh and Ryan Roland Smith. As Mesh throws 92 miles an hour outside.
Roland Smith, the big thing won't be his best fastball, but it's the difference in speeds of his fastball. He's probably going to go 86, 87 miles an hour, top out at 90 or 91.
That ball slices back into Guillen. So Vladimir Valentin is out, 0 for 5 in the series. Gilmesh walked Ichiro Suzuki in the top of the first. And then Betancourt singled on an 0-2 pitch. Jose Lopez driving Suzuki and Betancourt home with a 2-run single. Now Matt Tuiasosopo getting a chance to play at third base with Adrian Beltre done for the year.
Beltre has that surgery before the end of the season. The recuperating time for that thumb surgery, they expect to be 4 to 5 months. So he's hoping to be back at the start of spring training. So they decided, let's go ahead and do this thing 2 to 3 weeks early. Let's not wait till the end of the regular season. That could be a tough recovery. Left thumb, right shoulder.
Down on strikes. That's a third strikeout of the series for Tuiasosopo. Third strikeout for Gilmesh. This week, College Football Saturday presented by Acura and Suzuki returns as Arizona takes on UCLA in the Pac-10. Then Rice looks to upset the 7th-ranked Texas Longhorns. Coverage begins Saturday at 2:30 Eastern, 1:30 Central in HD.
You've been out on the West Coast the last couple of days. How comfortable has it been for you at UCLA?
Not very.
They got to be getting hammered.
Man. Of course, in typical LA fashion, though, rather than hammer on UCLA, it was all about propping up UFC.
Of course, we were in Cleveland last weekend, and the Sunday papers in Cleveland all about Ohio State, and a big disappointment for them. Still expected to dominate, I guess, in the Big Ten. That's part of the fun of this job, going around to the different cities and the other sports and how their teams are viewed and the following that they have.
And a 4-pitch walk to the struggling Kenji Jojima. Second walk given up by Mesh. So after 2 quick outs, Jojima to first, and Luis Valbuena comes to the plate wearing number 61. It's a spring training number.
That was my number my first year in the big league camp. No surprise I didn't make the club.
I guess a player is tipped off quite well just when they look at the number on their jersey the first day of spring training.
You know, it's your first year there, you don't care. You really don't even notice.
So you never said, wow, 61, they're kind of giving me a special number here. I might be the first 61 in Royals history. That didn't cross your mind?
I was just out of rookie ball, was hoping to make the Omaha Ball Club.
All of a sudden, Gilmesh, after striking out Tuiasosopo, has missed with 6 straight. 4 straight to a .212 hitter, and Jojima now 2 in a row to Valbuena, who's hitting 4 quarters and a nickel.
Also, you're talking about a guy who's been in the big leagues the last couple of weeks. So these are the guys you want to get aggressive with. The Mariners struggling with the bats recently. It's not just this series. They're 12th in the league in runs scored, 11th in the league in doubles, 10th in the league in home runs. This has not been a powerful offensive team.
And now 7 in a row. That was not the way the Mariners figured it was going to work out. Remember a few off seasons ago, the splash they made when they signed both Adrian Beltre and Richie Sexson to add some punch to their offense.
They had a $120 million payroll at the start of this season. Not necessarily the highest in baseball, but among the top 8 or 9. They expected to have a contending team, an 88-win campaign a year ago. By the end of May, they had lost their general manager. They had lost their manager, their hitting instructor.
Now 3-2 on Valbuena. Joe Jamo will break early from first base.
Their hitting instructor at the start of the season was a former Royals hitting instructor, Jeff Pentland. He was fired the first week of June. They were 13th in the league in batting average, 30th in the major leagues in on-base percentage at the time of that firing.
Struck him out, so Gill comes back from 3-0. Strikes out 2 more in the second inning. Seattle leads 2-0.
Create your own baseball collectible using your own photos. It's easy. Simply upload your photo, choose a product and design, and place your order. Choose from a wide variety of official MLB photo gift products from every Major League Baseball team. Prints, mugs, magnets, mouse pads, clocks, coasters, and more. Create a collectible you will cherish for years to come. Go to the photo store on MLB.com. In 3 easy steps, you can make your very own MLB memory. Go to the photo store on MLB.com today.
How do you want to see the game? You want to be closer? Well, this is no ordinary ticket. This is your ticket to baseball heaven in high definition. Sharp Aqua's the official HD TV of Major League Baseball. And with a blazing 4-millisecond response time and a super fast refresh rate, there isn't a shot in the hole or a streamer down the line that will singe the hair in your nostrils. It will change your baseball-loving life.
Aqua's LCD TV. Change your TV, change your life. Sharp.
Again with a nice lead over Minnesota. Tampa Bay 1 game over Boston. Of course, the Angels clinched. They lead by 18 right now over Texas, and Red Sox or whoever's leading in the East with a huge lead in the wild card. Tuiasa Sopo knocks down the shot from Billy Butler and has plenty of time to recover and throw Billy out. So 1 down. Butler now 0 for his last 7. And here's what's going on right now in the American League. Minnesota out in front of Cleveland. Chicago out in front of New York. Tampa Bay trying to add to their lead. Now this is a silly thing to say, Split, with 11 days to go, but it just seems like we're all waiting for Tampa Bay to have this huge collapse, and that goes back to May or June. Well, we'll see what happens in July. We'll see what happens in August. We'll see what happens in September.
Well, they can still beat the Red Sox at home in September. They're probably going to win it now. Did you see where their skipper, Joe Madden, came to the ballpark in a mohawk haircut? Talking about doing something to loosen the boys up. Now, he just doesn't strike me as the kind of guy that's going to show up in a mohawk. Now, he had a choice of either doing that or maybe jumping in the shower in his uniform.
Well, we know how that worked. Ball 1 to John Buck, one of the 3 Royals that homered last night.
The Royals had 5 extra base hits here last night. Double digits in hits again. Second time in this series.
1 ball, 1 strike. Hey, don't forget, Saturday is Fan Appreciation Night. First 20,000 fans are going to get this Royals stocking cap from FSN Kansas City, modeled by the lovely Dina Wathen. You'll have a chance to win several great prizes on Saturday. Also, don't forget the shirts off the back promotion. You have a chance to purchase scratch-off tickets, which will benefit Operation Breakthrough for $1. And then a drawing held at the end of the game. And if you have one of the lucky tickets, you will go down on the field and get a game-worn jersey from one of your favorite Royals. Shallow center field for Jeremy Reed. Royals down 1-2-3 on just 8 pitches in the second inning.
Create your own baseball collectible using your own photos. It's easy. Simply upload your photo, choose a product and design, and place your order. Choose from a wide variety of official MLB photo gift products from every Major League Baseball team. Prints, mugs, magnets, mouse pads, clocks, coasters, and more. Create a collectible you will cherish for years to come. Go to the photo store on MLB.com. In 3 easy steps, you can make your very own MLB memory. Go to the photo store on MLB.com today.
In the game of the walk, later picked up his 43rd stolen base, 3 hits shy of 200 for the season.
Not going to be his first American leaguer to 200 hits this year. Dustin Pedroia of the Boston Red Sox already with 202 hits coming into today. Ichiro could be next. Raul's right behind him, and then Jose Lopez would be 4th in the American League in hits. One player who doesn't look like he's not going to make it is Michael Young of the Texas Rangers. We saw the Rangers a few weeks ago. He needed 30 hits, 45 hits in the last 30 games. Had to get about a hit and a half per day. He still needs about 30 hits to make it.
How about 3 Mariners in a row?
Yeah, they've done some things right this year. I mean, not the young players. Of course, there's a question of whether they'll be able to keep Raul.
Well, now Suzuki is 2 hits shy as he gets it past Shealy. He'll hold at second base with a double as Ian gets it back to the infield. So after walking in the first inning, Suzuki extends a hitting streak to 10 game with a double leading off the 3rd.
Ryan, I was watching him in batting practice today. You know how most hitters work the middle of the field, try to inside out and controlled swing. He tries to work both corners. He'll stand there and he'll flip balls up the left field side, and then he'll stand there for 6 or 8 swings, and he'll do this right here. He'll try to pull everything and try to hit it down into the right field corner. So he doesn't have anything to do with the middle of the field in batting practice. It's either push it up one way, try to get on top, and try to hook it into the other corner. A lot of his batting practice looked just like that.
Yes, phenomenal bat control. We saw that right away in 01. First year with the Mariners when he was Rookie of the Year and MVP. And I think it's only appropriate that he'll tie Wee Willie Keeler. Wasn't Wee Willie Keeler the one that said hit them where they ain't? And that's what Suzuki has done his entire big league career. It's if he's able to look at the defense when he goes to the plate, and no matter where the pitch is, just find a way to hit it where they ain't.
And they ain't usually in the corners.
Some of the hits that Suzuki has gotten, in order to defend where they ain't, you'd have to put about 27 people on the field.
Well, you got to change everything you do defensively. Defensively, you probably try to take away something, whether it's the pull side of the field, the opposite side of the field. You can pitch him away, play him away. Maybe you bunch and try to take away the gaps for a guy who does play the middle of the field. But how do you cover the corners? I mean, that leaves so many holes in your defense.
Now Mesh and Buck are going to talk things over with the count 2-0 on Betancourt. Well, Suzuki was a big star, winning batting titles and MVPs in Japan before he arrived in 01. 242 hits, MVP, Rookie of the Year. Mariners won 116 games that year. Those are all the 200 hit seasons. 2004, that's a major league record, 262 hits in one season, passing George Sisler. And the closest he has come to not getting 200 hits was the very next year, 2005, when he finished at 206.
Because he makes so much contact and gets so many hits, he doesn't really have many walks.
Nash going to play it to first, and good thing he had a big target over there in Ryan Sheely. That saved an error. So sacrifice bunt for Betancourt gets Suzuki over to third base.
Get the bunt down, get it away from the catcher, get the pitcher to where he doesn't have a play other than at first base. Gil maybe a little lackadaisical with that throw right there. Really didn't have to hurry it. Didn't stay on top all that well, but Sheely able to bail him out.
And now Raul Ibanez. Gil struck him out in the first inning. Royals bring the infield in halfway with Suzuki at third. And Ibanez. Now, I haven't seen the first two games of the series. You and Frank did those two, but just the swings tonight. I mean, he's not just missing, he's missing big time.
Really hasn't hit the ball on the line like you'd expect him to, especially with him coming in with the hot bat. Ibanez had hit in 8 straight, had 14 hits during that 8-game hitting streak opening this series. Get the feeling here tonight that he's really not seeing the ball well off of Gil, kind of feeling for it instead of driving the bat head through that zone. He's pretty good with 2 strikes. I'll see how he handles here. He'll cut down a swing a little bit, try to ensure some contact, see if he can get a runner home from third. His batting average is actually higher than Ichiro's at the start of this series. He was 8th in the league. His right fielder was right behind him.
Struck him out again. Attaway, Dabby. 5 strikeouts for Mesh, and the second time he struck out Ibanez.
Well, he got right after Raul with 3 really good pitches, including this last one. Looked like they tried to go away if you look where John Buck was set up, but that's an ideal way to pitch a left-handed hitter above his hands, inside part of the plate. It's a no-nonsense strikeout. 3 pitches, just get right after it.
And now Lopez, who singled home 2 in the first inning. You can see the advertising behind John Buck to the left of Buck. That is obviously not English. And that means the game, which is being broadcast back in Japan, all the Seattle games are being broadcast back in Japan. And you know there's a big audience with Suzuki 2 hits away from 200. So that means that, I guess, a Japanese station advertised with the Royals to get that signage on here compensating. We see the Japanese characters all around Safeco Field in Seattle, but every now and then they'll get some advertising for a road game.
Now, you spent some time in Japan. Do you recognize any of that?
Yeah, it's Japanese.
So you can write it, but you can't read it?
I'm guessing that's some sort of a video game.
John Buck just get crossed up on that last pitch. The way he went after it looked like he was surprised.
Well, after the 2-run single in the first inning from Lopez, let's see how Gil pitches him with the count 3-1. And goes with the cutter And that fills out the count. Lopez is 6 out of 8 in the series with 3 RBIs. And into shallow right field. In comes Guillen, fighting the lights, makes the catch, and down he goes. Whatever it takes. Leadoff double for Seattle, but no runs home. Inning and grounds out to Tuyas Sopo at third base. Well, Savannah was born 3 months premature, spent 72 days at St. Luke's Hospital, and now Brian is a proud spokesperson and advocate for the March of Dimes, giving back to the support staff that helped his family learn about premature birth. And Savannah is doing just great. So in addition to working with the March of Dimes, always good to have Brian Williams in the Royals radio booth, and tonight enjoying the game from the Buck O'Neill legacy seat. So 1 pitch, 1 out for Roland Smith. Now 2-0 on Esteban Herman, who bats for the first time in the series. Now Esteban Herman has been an exception to the rule. We talked about it at the beginning of the broadcast that the number 9 position is the lowest batting average for the Royals all season. But Esteban Herman, when he is batted there, is hit just below 300 and always has a good eye. Gets a walk with 1 out on 4 pitches. And at the top of the order, and David DeJesus. Well, the excitement is building for our long drive inning qualifiers, as the Kia Grand Prize drawing will be Friday at Crown Center. Hope you'll join us at noon for free stuff from FSN Kansas City and see who will win a Kia Spectra from your Kansas City and St. Joe Kia retailers. After the Mariners scored 2 in the first inning, the Royals came right back in the bottom of the first. David DeJesus doubled. Mike Aviles with a ground ball got him to third base with 1 out, but Ryan Roland Smith struck out Jose Guillen. That was the big out, and got Ryan Shealy on a ground out to first base. Good breaking ball, 1-1 on DeJesus.
Guy can make a pretty good living with that breaking ball to left-handed hitters. Keep it down, keep it away. It's going to be a nice complimentary pitch to his fastball. Just get that thing in the strike zone. especially for a reliever. He's going to pitch out of their bullpen. Lefties are going to get just one look against him.
On the ground to second base. Out at second. Double play. Valbuena, Betancourt to Lopez. The Royals send just 3 to the plate in the bottom of the third.
Are you an adrenaline junkie? At Grind TV on Yahoo Sports, you can submit your own videos or watch the pros in action. Check out the most outrageous, untamed, and awe-inspiring sports videos on the web, surfing, skateboarding, motocross, and so much more. For the sickest action sports videos, check out Grind TV on Yahoo Sports.
Yeah, it's, you know, the way we're playing, though, I wish we had another couple months. But, you know, it's been, you know, a lot of ups and downs, obviously, this season, Ryan. And, but, you know, we remain, you know, very encouraged. And, you know, we'll just keep building.
You know, this team is still young enough where, on one hand, you know, the old baseball red flag of don't get too excited or don't make your evaluation too extensive in September, but still young enough where you get the feeling that if the Royals could really finish strong and have a good month of September, the Royals right now are 10-5 in this month, that could be enough to wash away a lot of the first 5 months going into the offseason.
Well, it's certainly something to build on, as you said, and we do want to finish strong. It's very important for, you know, our players to go into the offseason with a strong frame of mind, for us to go in as a front office and a leadership team in a good frame of mind as well, knowing that, you know, some of our players have finished strong. You know, last year we were sitting here talking about how the season was very long for some of our young players, and looking for, you know, excuses why they didn't play as well and perform. And, you know, this year, you know, we're playing better in September.
That's a single for Jeremy Reed, who was down in the count. No balls, 2 strikes. That's the second hit tonight that Gill has given up with the count 0-2. Well, let's get right to it. Dayton Moore is most frustrated with what in the 2008 season?
Yeah, personally, you know, just evaluating our team, I expected our starting pitching to be a little more consistent. At times it was very good, but overall I think it has to improve, and it will improve. Encouraged by our bullpen. I think our bullpen's been the most consistent part of our baseball team, and but probably the starting pitching.
John Bale goes on the disabled list very early in the season. Brett Tomko was just outpitched by other guys and had to move on. But even though, you know, the starting pitching wasn't what you hoped it would be, no big injuries, and a lot of guys got a lot of starts.
They did, and that is a plus. You know, to see Kyle Davies pitch more consistent this year than he did last year. At times he's been very good, and you know, that thing about Kyle, he's actually pitched pretty good out of the stretch, which is a good sign. Luke Hoshaver at times gave us some quality starts, and of course Banny coming off the very good season he had last year. From June towards the end of the season, he was very good, and he struggled a lot for us this year in the middle part. And but with a guy like Brian Bannister, for me anyway, I always feel like we're going to get a chance because. When he pitches, because he is a guy who's a very good competitor, and sooner or later he's going to figure things out because he cares so much.
Kyle Davies was great 2 nights ago in pitching 8 shutout innings, getting 8 strikeouts against Seattle, and a lot of talk about his approach and his tempo. And even though Seattle isn't a great offensive team, did you see something different that Kyle can build on, or is it just one of those things where all the stars were aligned?
Well, I think I've noticed really the last few starts that he's making better pitches out of the windup. He's getting the ball out of the glove more consistent, which is helping his timing and the consistency of his fastball command. I thought he used his breaking ball much better the last outing, and the previous outing in Minnesota he didn't use his curveball much at all. And so I think Kyle's still looking for that consistency. And, the thing that our young pitchers have to figure out how to do, and I think the next big step for Zach Greinke is this. When he doesn't have his good stuff, he's got to figure out how to get through the game and at least give us 6 or 7. And, that's what I've been most impressed with Gil Mesh this year. And tonight, he really doesn't have his good stuff. But this year, when he hasn't been very dominant and the stuff's been a full grade down, he's figured out a way to manage through the game and not get in that bullpen too early.
The contract that you gave him and the money that you gave him, obviously you want him to perform, but I would think you got to be pretty happy with the example that he has set the last 2 years with no run support last year. Never complained once, never said, oh, poor me. And then this year, the slow start he got off to and turned it into a successful season.
Ryan Gill's a professional, and he's a great worker. He's somebody who's very prepared, and he leads by example. You hit it right on the head, and he knows that he has a job to do, and he just focuses on that.
Well, here's 2 guys that are starting to play a lot together. Mike Aviles at short and Alberto Callaspo here at second. This was not an easy double play to turn.
Well, it's been good to get both of those players, playing together. Obviously, it gives us a good glimpse of what they can be. But Ryan, we're still going to try to improve up in the middle of the diamond. And Mike Aviles has been the biggest surprise of the year. He was our minor league player of the year last year. We had a couple people in Rene Francisco and Duke Wathen that recommended we put him on the 40-man roster last year, and after listening to all the debate and all the analysis, I felt at the end of the day we didn't need to do that. And when Trey got a glimpse of him in spring training, Trey really liked him, liked his energy, his style of play, and felt that, this guy's got a chance to help us at some point in time this year. We were focused more on a utility role at that time because we certainly expected Tony Pena Jr. to continue to play well coming in to the year based on what he did last year. And when Mike came up here and got his opportunity, he did super. And those are the types of surprises we need.
Tuiasa Sopo flies out to Guillen. Only 3 come to the plate for the Mariners in the 4th.
Create your own baseball collectible using your own photos. It's easy. Simply upload your photo, choose a product and design, and place your order. Choose from a wide variety of official MLB photo gift products from every Major League Baseball team. Prints, mugs, magnets, mouse pads, clocks, coasters, and more. Create a collectible you will cherish for years to come. Go to the photo store on MLB.com. In 3 easy steps, you can make your very own MLB memory. Go to the photo store on MLB.com today.
How do you want to see the game? You want to be closer? Well, this is no ordinary ticket. This is your ticket to baseball heaven in high definition. Sharp Aqua's the official HD TV of Major League Baseball. And with a blazing 4-millisecond response time and a super fast refresh rate, there isn't a shot in the hole or a streamer down the line that won't singe the hair in your nostrils. It will change your baseball-loving life.
Aqua's LCD TV. Change your TV, change your life. Sharp.
And now he leads off the bottom of the fourth inning against Ryan Roland Smith and takes strike one. Now, you've been at this for a long time. I mean, you've been around scouting and front office, and now you've been an executive and making executive-like decisions in the big leagues for a while. But how does a guy like Mike Aviles change an organization when he doesn't grade out as, you know, a five-tool guy that we hear about so often, but just a guy that knows how to play the game?
Yeah, Ryan, it's important. And, you know, and you and I talk a lot about the Minnesota Twins and their style of play. And, you know, Mike Aviles, you know, fits in to their type of player, and he's certainly the type of player that we want to get more of. You got to be able to play this game if we're going to win championships. And you got to have players that understand their role, they accept their role, and they stay within their skill set. And, you know, Mikey plays with a lot of energy and a lot of hustle. He knows how to play. He's benefited from being perceived to be stuck behind a lot of players that were currently in the major leagues, which forced him to be in AAA for, you know, 2.5 years. And you know, we talk about moving slow with players, and you know, Mike benefited from a lot of at bats and a lot of repetitions at the minor league level.
Here's Jose Guillen with one out, and I guess the best way to segue this is we go from one guy that's been a lot of fun to talk about this year in Mike Aviles, and another guy that unfortunately when we do talk about him has to do with a comment or a distraction, and Guillen was a late scratch from the lineup last night, and then because of what happens this year there's immediate buzz about why was he a late scratch. But I think the question the fans want to know, Dayton, in regard to Jose Guillen, does this have a chance, you know, the way he fits in with his teammates and just being a member of the Kansas City Royals and blending in, does this have a chance to get any better next year?
Well, Ryan, we believe it does, and you know, we believe that the people that we have in place and in our clubhouse, the players and our staff, Trey Hillman specifically, can manage people, and it has been trying at times. Jose, as we've said many times, is somebody who you know, expects to win. He a lot of energy around him. He has an opinion. He's somebody that he's a lightning rod for things that happen in the clubhouse, and he's brought some things on himself. But the one thing I can't question with Jose Guillen, I can't question his ability to play. I can't question the way he plays, because he expects to win. He comes to play each night. He's a solid baseball player, and we just you know, got to work together to get him more focused, you know, in those 3 to 4 hours prior to the game.
He has a long history now in the game, and it's been, you know, very much an up and down history, because one team loves Jose Guillen. The Seattle Mariners loved Jose Guillen. In fact, Bill Bavasi, when he was fired, lamented the fact that he didn't bring Jose Guillen back. And then there are teams that couldn't wait to run him out of town. As you've done your history and your evaluation, what works for Jose Guillen and what leads to Jose Guillen outbursts?
Well, I don't think there's any one consistent way to deal with him, and that's the hard part about it, truthfully. And you know, I think the important thing is that is constant communication with him daily. He's a high maintenance player, but a lot of the very good and great players to play this game were high maintenance. And you know, every decision we make, Ryan, as you know, we consult a lot of different people, and ultimately I have to make the decision to who we're going to acquire. And I felt that Jose Guillen gave us the best opportunity to make our team better.
How about this guy? Ryan Sheely goes deep again. That is home run number 6 for Sheely since his September call-up. He has homered in 2 straight games, and the Royals are on the scoreboard. It's a 2-1 game, and we don't have to go very far with his history, Dayton, because you're the one that brought him to Kansas City.
Well, you know, Ryan, when we acquired him in July of 06, he had two full months for us and played very well. And then in 07, I think it was 176 at bats. He struggled, and he wasn't in the greatest shape for whatever reason. Coming into spring training, he had some hamstring issues, and really through no fault of his own. And he had a broken bone in his right foot, and he just never got out of the gate. And he was finished in AAA that year, and this year, coming out of spring training, we felt he needed to go to AAA and continue to play, and really just get the energy back in him. And I think we'll see how it plays out.
Billy Butler pops out after the Shealy home run. Royals on the scoreboard. We'll continue with Dayton Moore when we get to the 5th inning.
Are you an adrenaline junkie? At Grind TV on Yahoo Sports, you can submit your own videos or watch the pros in action. Check out the most outrageous, untamed, and awe-inspiring sports videos on the web, surfing, skateboarding, motocross, and so much more. For the sickest action sports videos, check out Grind TV on Yahoo Sports.
Two runs in the first inning, none since. And misses outside to Kenji Jojimo. We're visiting with Royals general manager Dayton Moore, joining us for a couple of innings. Trey Hillman, when you hired him as manager, most people, and I don't say most like 51%, I'm talking about 75, 80, 85% of the people in baseball applauded that decision, not just because of Trey being, an up-and-coming major league manager after what he did in the minor leagues and in Japan, but just the guts to hire Trey Hillman, as he had been managed before, but didn't seem to be a good fit with other teams. Well, now he's almost done with his first major league season. What's your evaluation of Trey?
Well, Ryan, he's special, and he's even going to get more special as his career lengthens. And he's so prepared, and I've said that many times. And he's somebody that he works so hard, and at times I think he works a little too hard and takes it a little too hard when things don't go well. But that's, to me, you can't care enough. And Trey Hillman cares immensely, and he's going to be very special. As I said, he already is very special, and I think as the players continue to gain a comfort level with him, they're going to respond as we go forward. And the frustrating thing for Trey and for all of us is we spend so much time working on the fundamentals, not only in spring training but throughout the entire year. In September we had guys out early hitting yesterday, and Rusty's always got guys out on the road and working on bunting and doing different things, and that's been frustrating for him because Trey's always prided himself on making sure his teams did the things that good teams do, and that's execute fundamentals, and it's been frustrating for him.
He's the one that makes the first trip to Gil Mesh, who walked Kenji Jojima for the second time tonight on just 4 pitches, and now 2-0 on Luis Valbuena. Now Trey has come under some fire the last couple of weeks, and I guess taking the brunt of the Royals' struggles in the month of August and in the second half. Sensationalism, or are there some valid points there?
Well, you know, I think a lot of it's sensationalism. I really do. You know, just the fact that, you know, what he just did right there. I like the fact that a major league manager will go out and make a trip to the mound and convey what he wants. And I like the manager who is complete control of the pitching staff. And yeah, it's a decision that you know, him and Bob McClure talk about, but ultimately Trey makes the final decision. But you know, it's like anything. You grow into a job, and you learn different things you can and you cannot do. Trey's not afraid, and there's no fear in the man, and he's not afraid to, you know, try new things and to approach people in different ways, and he's going to put the throttle down and move forward in the direction that he thinks that you know we need to go. And like I've said many times, there's nobody in this organization, in any successful organization, that is ever should ever question their authority, and that includes the general manager. Everybody has a job to do, and you do it, and you have a job description, and you go out and perform it. And what happens in teams that fail, when the third base coach wants to be the pitching coach and the shortstop's trying to be the catcher, and the catcher wants to be the pitcher, and the center fielder, you know, wants to be the right fielder, it's too confusing. And everybody has a job to do, and you need to respect the job that that person holds, and everybody needs to go out and perform and do their job. And if you're worried so much about what someone else is doing, it's impossible to do your job effectively. And you know, Trey's a pusher, and the best teachers and the best coaches out there, they are pushers, and they expect a lot. And when you have that type of attitude and that type of style, you're bound to you know, create some hurt feelings from time to time. But the guys care. He cares. He's passionate, and he's a right guy for what we're trying to do here in Kansas City.
He has talked often lately, in the last couple of weeks or so, about how much he has learned this year. And Suzuki thumbs one into shallow left, and Tien can't get it. That's a base hit, and hit number 199 for Ichiro Suzuki. So one hit shy of getting to 200 hits for 8 consecutive seasons. He's gotten many hits like that, just finding the place where a fielder either isn't or just misses making the play. But getting back to Trey, you know, he's talked lately about, you know, what he's learned and what he hopes to apply next year. You've even mentioned now in 2.5 years as GM what you've learned and what you weren't expecting. And I'm thinking, you know, if a player gets to the big leagues for the first time and he says, I'm learning a lot, we all say, well, yeah, it's his first time in the big leagues. But it seems like if you're an executive or a coach or manager, you're not supposed to be learning everything. You're supposed to know how to do it all when you get here.
And it doesn't work like that. There's no way to prepare for these jobs until you actually get into one of these positions and begin to make decisions day in and day out, deal with the media, and handle the expectations of what the media expects. And there's a lot of fires to put out every day, and there's no way to prepare for that. You have to accept one of these positions and then go live it. And you're always making adjustments. You're always learning. And the thing about Trey, he asks questions. He relies on his people, and he's not afraid to make mistakes. And he has made some mistakes from time to time, as we all do. But he's the first one to admit when he has. And you know, he'd be the first to tell you that you know, it's been a growing experience for him.
And he'll be smiling after that play.
Yeah, absolutely.
Double play to end the top of the 5th inning. So Mesh gets around a walk and a single, and a good backhand play by Tien, and then doubles off Jojima at second base.
How do you want to see the game? You want to be closer? Well, this is no ordinary ticket. This is your ticket to baseball heaven in high definition. Sharp Aqua's the official HD TV of Major League Baseball. And with a blazing 4-millisecond response time and a super fast refresh rate, there isn't a shot in the hole or a streamer down the line that will singe the hair in your nostrils. It will change your baseball-loving life.
Aqua's LCD TV. Change your TV, change your life. Sharp.
Are you an adrenaline junkie? At Grind TV on Yahoo Sports, you can submit your own videos or watch the pros in action. Check out the most outrageous, untamed, and awe-inspiring sports videos on the web, surfing, skateboarding, motocross, and so much more. For the sickest action sports videos, check out Grind TV on Yahoo Sports.
And hearty soups only at Panera Bread. Bottom of the fifth inning, Royals down 2-1. We're visiting with Royals general manager Dayton Moore as Mark Teahan leads off against Ryan Roland Smith. And just to continue and put the finishing touches on our conversation about Trey Hillman, don't expect him to change, as a person and his convictions about the game. But do you think we're going to see a little different Trey Hillman in 2009 as far as how he goes about managing the players and managing the team?
Well, I think we're all changing constantly. I know that I manage people differently today in this job than when I did when I first arrived here in Kansas City. I mean, things move so fast, especially in your first year. And I made so many mistakes early on, and just managing the day-to-day grind of this job. And I know Trey that will make adjustments, and like I said before, because he cares so much. And our relationship is very, very strong. We're in sync with most things, but and that's important because he speaks his mind very freely, and I do as well. And it's a good exchange of ideas, and he understands what we're trying to do in scouting and player development. He understands what J.J. Piccolo's role is. He understands what our area scouts do. And he has a wide spectrum of the entire organization and what our goals are and what we're trying to accomplish. And that's so important for an organization like ours at this stage of where we are.
2-1 on John Buck. And now 2 balls, 2 strikes. Okay, we began this conversation with the things that have disappointed you the most about this season. What are you most encouraged about carrying over into 2009?
Well, I'm very encouraged with our processes and the way we go about, our preparation on the major league side, without a doubt. And very encouraged by, what Joaquin Soria continues to do. And in my mind, he's developing into maybe, one of the top, 2 or 3 closers in the entire game. And what Gilmesh and Zach Greinke continue to do. I'm encouraged with, as I said before, with what Kyle and Luke are doing, and certainly Mike Aviles and David DeJesus has had a very consistent year, the best year since I've been here. And but Brian, we've got a long way to go, and I'm never ever going to make excuses for the talent we have on the field. I'm going to believe in our players. I'm not going to put limitations on them. We're going to expect to win each night, and we're going to put the best team we can together this offseason in preparation for 09, and we're going to expect to win. But the realistic view is we got to continue to build a great farm system and expect our young players to continue to improve, because we're not going to be able to go out and get 4 and 5 players every year on the free agent market. First of all, there's not that much talent out there to really make your team that much better. And the second part of that is, our market will just not allow us to go out and spend, you know, $70, $80 million a year in free agency, and that's where we are. So it's got to come from within our farm system, and I'm excited about, you know, the way we're doing things and the way we're building our farm system. And when we build that farm system, we're going to be able to make impactful trades. We're going to be able to create competition in our organization, and we're going to have, you know, 2 to 3 players every year competing for spots on our 25-man roster.
You had 3 straight levels go to the playoffs, low A, high A, and double A. And as you have rebuilt the farm system from the bottom up, you know, some teams try and build from the major league level and will destroy their farm system to do so, but you wanted to build from the bottom up. When these guys that are of the Trey Hillman regime drafted, developed, and get to the big leagues, what are those players going to be like? What can we count on those players for the most part being able to do?
Yeah, right. We talked about it earlier. We expect our players to be able to play the game, understand situations. You know, one thing we do in the minor leagues is anytime there's a situation that occurs in the game, we expect our hitter to choke up, and that tells us that they understand that there's a situation in place, and they're recognizing it, and they're trying to execute that situation. It's just right there. I mean, it's a hit-and-run situation. We hit the ball somewhere on the ground. We hit the ball in the air. And Alberto Callaspo is one of our more accomplished bat control players, and but it's not that easy. Obviously, it's you know, it's a skill that is learned you know, over a period of time. But we expect our players to know how to play. Defense is very, very important. If you can't play defense, I don't know how you're gonna play on a championship club, especially when we're trying to do it around pitching. Expect our pitchers. You got to throw strikes. We want them to work fast. We want them to throw strikes, hold runners, field their position, do the little things that are going to allow them to win. You know, over the course of an entire season. You know, 35 starts, and be able to give us a chance to win every night.
Are you? I'm talking about the organization as a whole, not at the major league level, but are you satisfied with where the organization is right now as Herman singles into center field? Going back to the day you took the job, are you happy with where the organization is right now? Are we a little further ahead? Are we a little further behind?
Ryan, you know, truthfully, I'm never satisfied. People that I work with each day will tell you that. But I like where we're going. I know we can do better. I know we've missed opportunities from time to time. It's just the nature of this game, looking back on it, hindsight being what it is. And but you know, I love the people we have in place. I know they care about the Kansas City Royals, and they want to do something special here. You know, when we came here, we felt and do feel this is one of the greatest challenges in all sports, and we're energized by that. We're motivated by that, and we're going to do something special here. I don't have a time frame when it's going to occur, but I do know that the people in place are committed, and we're working hard every day to make good decisions about the players that we currently have and the players that we want to acquire. You know, Rene Francisco's out there and his staff daily in the international market. Rene just left the Dominican Republic today. We had workouts all over the country. He's coming in here for a few days, and then he's going to the Eastern Rim. He's going to Taiwan. And you know, that type of dedication and passion for making the Royals strong is what motivates me to continue to do what I do. And so to answer your question, never satisfied, but continue to remain very encouraged and positive about where we're going. I know we're going to build something strong here, and but again, it does take time. But and at the same part of that, we're going to do everything we can to put the most competitive team we can on the field for 2009.
The franchise we talk about so much, and we already have again tonight, Minnesota. What they forget about Minnesota is when Terry Ryan took over as general manager in the mid-90s, I remember because I was there, the Twins had 5, 6 terrible seasons where people thought, where in the world are the Twins going? It took some time to turn that organization around. As DeJesus flies to left field, and that's the end of the bottom of the 5th inning. Well, Dayton, you've always been very upfront and straightforward with the question and answers, and thanks for spending.
Create your own baseball collectible using your own photos. It's easy. Simply upload your photo, choose a product and design, and place your order. Choose from a a wide variety of official MLB photo gift products from every Major League Baseball team. Prints, mugs, magnets, mouse pads, clocks, coasters, and more. Create a collectible you will cherish for years to come. Go to the photo store on MLB.com. In 3 easy steps, you can make your very own MLB memory. Go to the photo store on MLB.com today.
How do you want to see the game? You want to be closer? Well, this is no ordinary ticket. This is your ticket to baseball heaven in high definition. Sharp Aqua's the official HD TV of Major League Baseball. And with a blazing 4-millisecond response time and a super fast refresh rate, there isn't a shot in the hole or a screamer down the line that will singe the hair in your nostrils. It will change your baseball-loving life.
Aqua's LCD TV. Change your TV, change your life. Sharp.
Both times swinging in the first and third innings, leads off, and Gill starts him off with a curveball for ball 1. Ryan Lefevre with Paul Splittorff just had a nice 2-inning chat with Royals general manager Dayton Moore. You got a chance to listen to it, Split. Anything that just jumped out at you as far as what Dayton Moore had to say?
You know, I think the disappointment of this year and the direction that they want to take over the next few months as you head into 2009. A lot of meetings will go on over the next few weeks as far as direction, availability of free agents. But I think the one thing that we've heard from Dayton Moore from the day he got here is that he wants to win a championship, and he's not going to be satisfied. He's told you that he's not satisfied with where this club is right now until he gets to the end for him, which would be a championship. He's not going to be satisfied, so they continue to push forward.
Shealy calls off John Buck, and that's the first out of the 6th inning. So he didn't strike out Ibanez this time, but he's gotten him twice tonight. Here's the Coors Light freeze cam.
Gill's done a good job of mixing his pitches to get the strikeouts. The first one of Raul was on the curveball. There's another curveball down and away from Reed. Another breaking ball down and away from the right-handed hitter, Tuiasa Sopo. Good fastball. He throws that one by the left-handed hitter and gets Raul Ibanez chasing a high fastball. So 5 strikeouts tonight for Gill. All those 5 strikeouts coming in the first 3 innings here this evening.
And now ball 1 on Jose Lopez. Drove in 2 runs in the first inning with a 2-out single. Royals getting a run in the 4th on a home run from Ryan Shealy. And that's through the hole on the left side. Jose Lopez 2 for 3 tonight and 7 for 10 in the series. So he's getting a lot of hits. But Gil Mesh can't feel that badly about giving up hits to Jose Lopez because he's getting hits off of everyone. So 1 on 1 out. And now Jeremy Reed up there. Gil struck him out in the first inning, and then Reed singled to left in the 4th.
Anything in that interview jump out to you?
You know, as you answered my question, I kind of had the same response. And you know, we're around Dayton all the time, and I'm glad he was able to come on for a couple of innings, because conversations can be cut up into sound bites or quotes just because there's on radio, TV, and in print. You just don't have enough room to get everything in there. But there really is a genuine frustration when the team doesn't play well. I mean, heard it in his voice when Alberto Callaspo didn't get the hit and run ball down on the ground. That, you know, the expectations are still there, and you can really feel it. You can hear it in his voice that, you know, he's not going to settle for, well, this is Kansas City, and you have to have different expectations in Kansas City than you do if you're with the Atlanta Braves, where Dayton was before he came here. I mean, he really feels in the bones of his soul, whatever that means, that the Royals have a chance to win a championship here.
And it's going to start with pitching, and he mentioned the starting pitching specifically. Royals, I guess, at this stage feel good about 1 and 2. Questionable about 3. What about 4 and 5? And I think at this point in time, he expected 4 consistent starters in that rotation.
I guess what jumped out at me, now that you bring it up, talking about the starting pitching, that without hesitation, his biggest disappointment this year has been starting pitching, which just goes to show you how bad we've been here the last 10 years, because I think many of us would think that this is one of the, maybe the numbers don't show it, but one of the best collections of pitchers where the Royals have a legitimate chance of winning a game. But when you look at where Dayton has come from in Atlanta, even though this starting rotation has taken a step forward, it's not quite up to the level he's used to.
I think the pitching overall, if you look at Major League Baseball and then the Royals, Major League Baseball, the pitching has been better this year. The team earned run average in the American League has gone from 4.5 points last year down around 4.25 points this year. Last year the Royals were the American League average at 4.5. This year it's higher than that, about 4.65, and the Royals ranking 10th in the American League in team earned run average. I think he expected something in the middle of the pack, being in that 6th, 7th, 8th spot, and overall team earned run average with the starters leading the way. I think that's where he expected to be this year, and I don't think that was trying to assume too much either.
Wild pitch moves Lopez up to second base. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Jeremy Reed.
Curveball's been a good pitch for Gill tonight against the left-handed hitters. Comes back with one right here. There's the spike curveball grip. Buries it. John Buck did a good job of sliding over, but that ball got underneath his glove. Didn't hit him squarely in the middle of the chest protector, so it kicks off to his right, allowing Lopez to move up 90 feet. We had a couple good wild pitches over the last couple days where I said that might be a wild pitch. You would have liked it. I thought of you right away.
I don't think I've ever heard a pitcher say we had some pretty good wild pitches. I didn't know there was such a thing. That's 6 strikeouts for Gill and 2 down in the 6th inning. Well, Greinke, Gordon, Aviles, and Butler were all once introduced to the fans at Royals Future Nights. Now it's time to meet the next group of future stars. That's coming up the day after tomorrow. 16 players and pitchers of the year from the Royals minor league clubs will be in the party area inside Gate A starting at 5:15 for an autograph session. They'll take some questions from the fans before heading inside for a pregame ceremony on the field. That's Friday before the 7:10 game against the Chicago White Sox.
Frank and I were talking last night. Remember a couple years ago when Byron Geddes came in with that electric blue suit?
Oh, man. Byron Geddes, who was an excellent football player out of the St. Louis area, was scheduled to play college football for the world-renowned academic institution, the University of Minnesota.
But he did go on and play for the Salukis, those bad dogs of Southern Illinois.
Played with the Royals, got to the big leagues, and decided to go to college football after all. I wonder if he still has that suit. Some of the Royals that'll be here on Friday night: Mike Moustakas, who is the first-round draft pick of the Royals last year, and Daniel Cortez, a pitcher. They'll join Joel Goldberg during Dodge Royals Live. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Vladimir Ballantyne. Well, if his goal was to be noticed, he was successful. Byron Geddes
had the big smile to go along with it.
Yeah, he did.
Had some personality to it.
Great kid. Lopez at second base, 2 down. Ballantyne is 0 for his last 9. 2-2.
Getting into this lower half of the Seattle Mariners lineup, where a veteran pitcher ought to be able to take some advantages of young, inexperienced hitters if you can get ahead in the count. Ballantyne, certainly a strikeout candidate. He's already struck out 3 times in this series.
Fastball coming in at 92 from Gil Mesh. Gil at 93 pitches. And Trey Hillman has been pretty strict with his pitch counts beginning in the middle of August through last night, right around 100 pitches, and that's it, including Kyle Davies, who had gone 8 shutout innings on Monday and it hadn't thrown 100 pitches. Soria pitched the 9th. Now 3 balls, 2 strikes on Valentin.
We've talked about the pitch counts so many times, and it is a nice measuring stick, but I think it gives you part of the story. I think the other part of the story is how much stress have you been under. Gil hasn't had a 1-2-3 inning yet tonight. He's had base runners on in every inning. So not necessarily the clean ball game that he had a few weeks ago when he was in Cleveland. That was just over 100 pitches. 7 innings pitched, but retired 17 straight at the time he finished up that performance.
And Buck and Mesh are going to talk over the 3-2 pitch. Well, fans, we're going to take a look at the 2008 Dodge Challenger SRT-8. The Kansas City zone Dodge dealers have donated this Challenger to be auctioned off with the proceeds benefiting Royals charities. The event will take place on Friday, September 26th at KCI Auto Auction. You must pre-register and pre-qualify to participate. For more information, call 816-502-3318 or visit kciaa.com. Struck him out again. 7 strikeouts for Gil Mesh, and Seattle still hasn't scored since the first, but they lead by 1.
Create your own baseball collectible using your own photos. It's easy. Simply upload your photo, choose a product and design, and place your order. Choose from a wide variety of official MLB photo gift products from every Major League Baseball team. Prints, mugs, magnets, mouse pads, clocks, coasters, and more. Create a collectible you will cherish for years to come. Go to the photo store on MLB.com. In 3 easy steps, you can make your very own MLB memory. Go to the photo store on MLB.com today.
Montague from Gladstone, Missouri. If the Royals hit a home run in this inning, Kimber wins $600. If the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Kimber wins $25,000 from Sonic and the Royals. It'll be the 2-3-4 hitters leading off, and Mike Aviles off the fifth is out on 1 pitch, popping out to first baseman Lopez. That's the second time tonight that Ryan Roland Smith has gotten the first out on just 1 pitch.
He's done a nice job tonight working both sides of the plate, and that cut fastball right in on the hands of the right-hand hitters has been especially effective.
Jose Guillen is struck out, and flied out. The strikeout was big. The Royals were trying to manufacture a run in the first inning. DeJesus doubled. Aviles grounding him to third base. And then with the infield back, Guillen just hoping for a ground ball or a fly ball, but Roland Smith struck him out. And to this point, that is his only strikeout tonight. And the Royals didn't get a run in that inning. Jose Guillen is one of the best that the Royals have had in getting at pitches in on the hands. How many balls has he hit like that? Now that was foul, but he hit it very hard with those hands very close to the body. Not getting the arms extended, but still hitting for power.
That's a tough pitch to keep fair, and left-handed pitchers know that because they got that fastball in his hands. The only way to keep it fair is with the inside-out swing. He doesn't necessarily go at it like that. Already has a dozen RBIs in the month of September. Had 10 RBIs the entire month of August.
Three and two on Guillen with Ryan Sheely on deck. Still 3 balls, 2 strikes. Ryan Sheely is homered again tonight. That was with 2 outs in the 4th inning. 6 home runs for Ryan Sheely in the month of September. He and Alex Rodriguez are tied for the most this month.
6 home runs and 37 official trips to the plate. Works out to a pretty good ratio.
Still 3 and 2 on Guillen. Guillen snapping at his batting gloves as he readjusts him. He was expecting to do more with that last pitch.
Yeah, he wants that one back. The other pitches that he went after earlier were in on his hands. That one still had quite a bit of the plate. He'd like another shot at that one. Probably not going to get it. There's another tough pitcher's pitch in the corner, maybe even running off the plate inside.
"13-game hitting streak coming in tonight for Jose Guillen, but he hasn't had an answer yet for Ryan Roland Smith, the Australian who won a silver medal with the Australian national team in the 2004 Olympics in Athens. Instead, he'll take a walk. That's the 3rd surrendered by Roland Smith. And here comes Ryan Sheely as we take a look at tonight's AT&T Your World moment. Ryan Sheely delivered back in the 4th inning.
Ryan Sheely over the last couple nights has made some adjustments after making outs the first couple times. Last night it was strikeouts. He shortens up against Brandon Morrow, hits one to straightaway center field. Jammed his first time up tonight. Then gets an off-speed pitch that he deposits in the bullpen his next time in with another home run.
Got jammed again, not hit hard enough for a double play, so Sheely's out. Not what he was hoping for, but the out gets the runner at first and puts the tying runner at second base with 2 down and Billy Butler coming up. Well, you can stock up on your favorite Royals gear at the team store at Kauffman Stadium. End of the season sales are going on now, so pick up a few items for yourself or to give as a gift. Hats, jerseys for adults and kids. Keep yourself warm with a new authentic game jacket. All of that at the Royals team store here at Kauffman Stadium. 1-0 on Billy Butler. Grounded out to third, fouled out to the first baseman. Billy 0 for his last 8. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ryan Roland Smith has made just 9 starts this year, but seems to be getting stronger as the season goes. His last 5 starts, he's gone more than 6 innings. and still pitching well here in the bottom of the 6th inning, and his pitch count right at 92 pitches.
Mariners doing some of the same things this year that the St. Louis Cardinals were forced to do last year. So many injuries into the starting rotation that they're now moving some of their more solid relievers out of the pen into the starters row. Remember last year, Braden Looper went from the bullpen to the rotation for the Cardinals, as did Todd Wellemeyer, the former Royal, and even Adam Wainwright, who was their closer, ended up starting a year ago. Well, the Mariners, because of injuries and lack of performance, Brandon Morrow pitched last night. Roland Smith tonight. We'll see another converted reliever tomorrow afternoon who will be in the rotation as they finish up this 4-game series. So Mariners have really been decimated by injuries to their starting rotation. Eric Bedard has been on the disabled list since July. Jared Washburn has been pushed back and skipped, came out of their bullpen last night. They're just having a hard time finding healthy arms to send out there on a regular basis.
2 walks given up by Roland Smith. So 2 on. Mark Teahan coming up, and manager Jim Riggleman making the first trip to the mound, and they're just now getting busy in the Mariners bullpen. Later tonight on FSN Kansas City, it's Big 12 No Huddle, where we replay the entire Big 12 game in 1 hour. Tonight's replay is Nevada against Missouri. So Big 12 No Huddle, Nevada and Missouri tonight on FSN Kansas City. Mark Teahan 0 for 2. David DeJesus 1 for 3. Those are the only 2 left-hand batters in the lineup for the Royals, which shouldn't come as a big surprise facing a left-hand pitcher. But Ryan Roland Smith has done a lot better this year, surprisingly, against righties than he has against lefties. Now, without seeing a whole lot of him split, what would come to mind if I were to say this lefty does well against righties but not very well against the lefties?
The first thing you would say, he's probably not all that deceptive, that the lefties are able to pick up the ball coming out of his hand, and he's probably pitching them to one side of the plate.
Through the legs, diving stop by Betancourt at shortstop, and gets Teahan over at first base. So the Mariners had Teahan played perfectly up the middle. From Unievsky Betancourt, and then doubling off Kenji Jojima. That got the Royals out of the 5th inning. And now Gil Mesh with 95 pitches coming into the 7th. It's 1 out on 1 pitch, retiring Matt Tui Sosopo. who is 0 for 3 and now faces Kenji Jojima.
Gill knows that he might be down to his last man if he gives up a base runner, so wants to be effective here. Make every pitch count the rest of the way. It might be your last one if the Royals get some activity in their bullpen. That's his pitching line. Mentioned he hasn't had a 1-2-3 inning, but he really hasn't been in a lot of serious trouble. It seems like anytime they get somebody out in scoring position, he finds himself in the lower part of the batting order where he's done pretty well.
That is the first strike that Gill has thrown to Kenji Jojima. Walked him on 4 pitches in the second inning, walked him on 4 pitches in the 5th, and fell behind ball 1. So 9 straight balls before throwing a strike, and now he's fallen behind the 212 hitter. 2 balls, 1 strike. Now Split Gill's aware that Kenji Jojima is not having a very good year. I'm not sure if he knows exactly that he's hitting 212, but do you lose sometimes a bit of an edge when you know, hey, I just need to throw strikes to this guy?
Tell you, there are times you go along in a ball game, you got good command of everything, you're on cruise control, and you miss with a pitch, and then you miss with the next one. Then you feel the pressure, you miss with. All of a sudden it's 3-0. How did that happen so quick? I thought I was in a groove. And it just happens that tonight has to be Jojima, the catcher. Jojima's season has gone one way, kind of sliding with that batting average, but he got his contract extended earlier this year. As April of this year, they signed him up through 2011. They got a couple pretty good looking catching prospects in their organization, so a lot of people raising their eyebrows about that one.
2 down, and now Luis Valbuena, he is 0 for 2. Don't forget, Friday night you'll get a look around the major leagues with the Baseball Report, as we're covering every team all season long with highlights, interviews, and analysis you won't get anywhere else. The Baseball Report is Friday after Boulevard Royals Live here on FSN Kansas City. And Trey Hillman leaving Gil Mesh out there in the 7th inning pays off as Gil has an 8-pitch 1-2-3-7.
Create your own baseball collectible using your own photos. It's easy. Simply upload your photo, choose a product and design, and place your order. Choose from a wide variety of official MLB photo gift products from every Major League Baseball team. Prints, mugs, magnets, mouse pads, clocks, coasters, and more. Create a collectible you will cherish for years to come. Go to the photo store on MLB.com. In 3 easy steps, you can make your very own MLB memory. Go to the photo store on MLB.com today.
How do you want to see the game? You want to be closer? Well, this is no ordinary ticket. This is your ticket to baseball heaven in high definition. Sharp Aqua's the official HD TV of Major League Baseball. And with a blazing 4-millisecond response time and a super fast refresh rate, there isn't a shot in the hole or a screamer down the line that will singe the hair in your nostrils. It will change your baseball-loving life.
Aqua's LCD TV. Change your TV, change your life. Sharp.
Getting their 36th home run from Alex Rodriguez and beating Chicago 5-1. So that's good news for Minnesota in the Central Division. They're tied with Cleveland in the bottom of the 7th. Toronto beats Baltimore 8-7. They were down 6-0 at one point. Tampa Bay way out in front of Boston, trying to make that a 2-game lead in the American League East. Really no big loss in that division. The loser appears to be headed for the wild card. Detroit way out in front of Texas, and Los Angeles will be at Oakland later tonight.
Minnesota out on another long road trip. It's a 10-gamer. They lose the last 3 ball games, and tonight they're matched up against Cliff Lee of the Indians. They finally got them out of that game. It's tied late. That is the stress of a stretch run for a team trying to run down a team out in front of them.
John Buck opens the bottom of the 7th inning against Roy Corcoran with a single to center field. So John Buck 1 for 2 with a walk. First base coach Rusty Kuntz, before going to the first base coaching box and eventually advising John Buck, was helping out. Who's that, Dean down there at first base? There's Dino. We're going to get Rusty again on microphone Friday night for the White Sox.
You don't want to miss it. I'll be here.
No, you don't. That is a treat. We got action.
I like it when he sends the guys out for the first inning and says, "Get out there, you payroll bandits."
Alberto Callaspo, he bunted that ball twice. There was a late call. He was expecting a foul ball, didn't get it right away, so started running, and then eventually all 4 umpires throwing their arms up in the air.
No, your instincts take over. You see this ball bunted, and watch how long it takes for everybody to move. He doesn't do anything. Jojima kind of said, "Well, hey, nothing called yet." Jojima finally jumps on it. Finally, you get the call, but everybody kind of pauses right here. Nobody chases it. It's still no call. Finally, the second base umpire, who has a good angle, seeing that ball was bunted twice. Home plate umpire loses it as soon as it chops foul in front of that catcher.
Lays off a high pitch, 2-1 on Callaspo. Royals trying to get John Buck to second base.
I think right here in this situation, I try to bunt up the first base line. First base is a new position for Lopez. He can't charge as quickly. He's got to hold that runner at first.
Now 3 balls, 1 strike.
Mariners going to send their best pitchers in for the rest of the night as they put together their bullpen. They haven't had many chances of wins over the last week or so. They've lost 6 straight, 8 out of their last 10, so a rare lead for them late. Jim Riggleman will keep his best arms out there and try to nail this one down.
Showing bunt and fouling it away. Well, that's a good idea if you put it in play, but now 3 balls and 2 strikes.
That's not easy to do, is it? Show bunt, take the bat back. I mean, you got to be short and quick. Got to really work to stay on top of the ball.
In my opinion, Split, too many hitters show bunt, pull the bat back, and then try and go with a full swing. It's not designed to do that. It's show bunt, try and get the infielders in, and just pull it back just enough to slap it by him. Now Buck runs, and Callaspo grounds it to short. Betancourt can't find the handle. Everybody's safe. So Betancourt, who made a great play to stop a Royals rally in the bottom of the 6th inning, now commits a costly error, and the Royals have 2 on, nobody out.
And in the words of Rusty Kuntz, we've got action. And because the Royals put some action on the bases, Betancourt knows that's happening. It forces him to hurry just a little bit. He still wants to get that lead runner at second base, but because he's in a rush, he bobbles the ball. So Buck's going to be safe at second. That allows Callaspo to beat the throw to first base. Without sending that runner, that's probably a double play ball.
Good call by the first base umpire, Brian Knight.
We got action.
We got big time action, and the action could get even bigger if Esteban Herman can get a bunt down. He has walked and singled so far tonight.
Now this is a situation where we probably want to bunt the ball up the third base line because the third baseman will be probably laying back. There are a couple different plays that the Mariners can use trying to get that lead runner at third base because it's a force out. As a hitter right now, you got to block out that defensive charge, just get the ball down.
And he pulls the bat back and slaps it foul. And again, it's a big swing, not designed to be a big swing. In fact, some terminology calls it a slug bunt, not a grab the bat back and go with a full swing. And the 2 times we've seen in this inning, 2 foul balls where the hitter's not even coming close to getting around on it.
Probably a good thing the Royals weren't bunting there, because Tuiasosopo, the third baseman, was charging hard. The shortstop was going over to cover third base. So if you bunted up the third base line hard, he'll have a clean play and an easy throw to third.
Showing bunt, pulls the bat back. Herman lately has had a tough time getting bunts down, and usually a hitter of his style, and we've seen Herman successful in laying bunts. He has 3 sacrifice bunts this year, but lately bunting has been a difficulty.
A little scary when you pick up the weapon.
I got the weapon now, and in reference to the slug bunt, we'll see what Herman does here with the count 1-1. Lays the bunt down to third base, nobody covering, and gets the job done. Second baseman Val Buena over to first base to receive the throw from Tuiasosopo. So the slug bunt we were talking about, Split, you know, the hitter typically wants to show bunt very early just so you get the corners to come in. But the good ones will pull the bat back and maybe really over choke up just so they can just slug it, just slap it by. But nowadays it seems like guys are going to show bunt and then pull the bat back and put both hands at the bottom of the bat, and there just isn't much time to load. And I think it's no coincidence that both Herman and Callaspo were very late on their swings.
Remember what Big John said: if you can't go downtown, put the bat down.
Or if you can't go downtown in this case, lay it down, as in a bunt.
Good scoring situation for the Royals right here. The best scoring opportunity of the night. Bases loaded with 1 out, and you're in the heart of your batting order. Guys that have swung the bat well recently. Aviles will be next.
Now Mike Aviles. Frustrating night so far, 0 for 3. Fouled out last time, but could change all of that. With Buck at third, Callaspo at second, to Jesus at first. Takes a sinker from Corcoran low. 8-game hitting streak coming in tonight for Aviles. Two 2-0. Aviles facing this pitcher for the first time.
Corcoran's best pitch is usually the sinker ball. He'll go sinker, he'll go change up anytime in the count, so you can never be sure as a hitter. Right now it's all about being selective at the plate. Get the ball that you can hit hard someplace, preferably in the air.
Good take. That was not a very hittable pitch, so 2-1 on Aviles. This is a good matchup here because you have Aviles, labeled by many as a non-prospect, getting to the big leagues, doing well, facing Roy Corcoran, who was undrafted, signed as a free agent because of his size or lack thereof, and his sinker is low. 3 balls, 1 strike. So a couple of guys getting to big leagues here, taking the difficult route of having to go against the odds.
And Aviles has just taken the best pitch away from Corcoran. That last sinking fastball was the one that their right-hander wanted Mike to go after.
And now 3 balls, 2 strikes. Jerry Lane, who likes at times to implement the dramatic pause before calling a strike. I don't think that was Aviles showing up the umpire. That was just the umpire not calling a strike right away. Little half swing coming to the plate is Buck, and the Royals are going to tie the game. So Aviles protecting the strike zone and putting it in play. drives home John Buck, and we're tied at 2 in the bottom of the 7th.
Contact hitters a lot of times get breaks on base hits that maybe you think shouldn't happen because they didn't hit it all that hard, but hey, put the ball in play and you give yourself a chance. Corcoran comes after him with another sinking fastball. That's a pretty good pitch right there. Outside corner. Aviles with a half swing right there. Probably hoping he was going to foul it off, so get another chance to drive the ball hard, but pretty effective right here as he rolls it up the first baseline.
So Corcoran is out. Former Royal Miguel Batista is in.
Are you an adrenaline junkie? At Grind TV on Yahoo Sports, you can submit your own videos or watch the pros in action. Check out the most outrageous, untamed, and awe-inspiring sports videos on the web, surfing, skateboarding, motocross, and so much more. For the sickest action sports videos, check out Grind TV on Yahoo Sports.
.2000. Been pretty effective for this Mariners ball club. Comes on for the 42nd time this year. 4 wins, 13 losses. Has some experience, has some versatility. Can either start in rotation or in middle or short relief.
He inherits Callaspo at third base, who reached on a big error. De Jesus is at second base, and now Jose Guillen 0 for 2 with a walk. Guillen just 1 for 11 against Batista. So the Mariners will be pitching to him. And ball one inside.
Oh, tough numbers right there. You wouldn't think that would necessarily be the case. Batista, a 16-game winner with these M's a season ago. Got some savvy. He knows how to pitch, how to move the ball around.
One ball, one strike.
Mariners are giving Guillen a whole lot of fastballs in this series.
Really fastballs up.
Yeah, fastballs up. Not really making any effort to trick him by changing speeds a whole lot. Just go ahead and challenge him.
13-game hitting streak coming in tonight, but 0 for 2 with a walk so far. Up the middle, past Bettencourt into left center field, and the Royals are going to score 2. So Jose Guillen brings everyone to their feet to extend his hitting streak to 14 games. And the Royals in this inning have turned a 1-run deficit into a 2-run lead.
Finally caught up to one of those fastballs. They wanted to get it away. The movement took it just slightly to the inner half of the plate. Guillen shoots it hard up the middle, just past the diving Bettencourt and on into center field. How many times have we said over the last couple of years the game has a chance to change every time you go into their bullpen? This one really changed in this inning.
Well, Jim Riggleman, who's the interim manager for the Mariners, decided not to send Ryan Roland Smith out there for the 7th, despite 6 solid innings. And Shealy is out on a good play at first base, or at the mound by Batista, throws him out at first. Guillen drives in 2. Royals score 3 to take the lead.
How do you want to see the game? You want to be closer? Well, this is no ordinary ticket. This is your ticket to baseball heaven in high definition. Sharp Aqua's the official HD TV of Major League Baseball. And with a blazing 4-millisecond response time and a super fast refresh rate, there isn't a shot in the hole or a streamer down the line that will singe the hair in your nostrils. It will change your baseball-loving life.
Aqua's LCD TV. Change your TV, change your life. Sharp.
Are you an adrenaline junkie? At Grind TV on Yahoo Sports, you can submit your own videos or watch the pros in action. Check out the most outrageous, untamed, and awe-inspiring sports videos on the web, surfing, skateboarding, motocross, and so much more. For the sickest action sports videos, check out Grind TV on Yahoo Sports.
The best left-handed setup man in the American League. The first half of the season been slowed by a heel injury over the last 6 weeks. Still comes on for the 55th time this year. Has that 5-0 record with 20 holds.
He'll get Ichiro Suzuki, Yuniesky, Betancourt, and Raul Ibanez in the 8th inning. Suzuki 2 hits, 1 hit shy of 200 for the season, trying to tie Willie Keeler for the Major League record. 8 consecutive 200 hit seasons to begin a career. Going to be a tough play as Aviles comes in. Didn't get him. And there it is. Ichiro Suzuki with base hit number 200 this season. 8 straight years. Ichiro Suzuki has come up with 200 hits to begin his Major League career. And here he is tying Wee Willie Keeler, who did it back in the late 1800s into 1901.
Suzuki really getting the job done for the Mariners tonight. He's been to the plate 4 times. He's been on base all 4 times.
And now the fans here at Kauffman Stadium, as they've put that note up on the scoreboard, realizing that they've seen a part of baseball history and a player that has provided a lot of excitement in his 8 years in the big leagues.
Now you got to be concerned with his ability to go out and steal bases. He's got 42 steals this year, been caught just 4 times.
Now Yuniesky Betancourt singled and scored in the first inning. A pop up into right center field. Jose Guillen makes the play, so Suzuki back to first base and 1 out.
Only chance the Royals have to get Ichiro at first base on this base hit is if Gordon can get to his left and cut the ball off. Once it goes by Alex to his left or Tian at third base, there's no chance for Aviles to come in and make that throw quick enough. Simply has to charge from too deep at shortstop.
A tip of the helmet and a bow per Japanese tradition. So he's at first with 1 out for Raul Ibanez. Raul 0 for 3 against Gil Mesh with 2 strikeouts. 0 for 10 in this series. And 3 for 31 against the Royals this year. In his first 4 years after rejoining the Seattle Mariners and against the Royals, he just kicked the Royals around the field. And not this season. John Buck has to maneuver around Ibanez to jump on that quickly, making sure Suzuki stays at first base.
Raul's hitting .319 against left-handed pitching this year. That's better than he has against the righties.
But not much success against Ron Mejia. Suzuki not running, and Ibanez into center field to Jesus coming up and has to stop short to make sure it doesn't skid by him. And Ibanez picks a dangerous time to come up with his first hit of the series. That puts 2 on and 1 out in the 8th inning and brings Trey Hillman out of the dugout.
Got to play fairly deep against Ibanez because of the power that he has, the ability to get the ball into the gaps. He has 43 doubles, 3 triples, so you have to respect his ability to shoot it by you. Because you got to play a little deeper against him, that ball is able to get down in front of Jesus. Looked like he had thoughts of maybe trying to come in and make a shoestring catch. Probably a good thing he pulled off the play.
Ron Mejia is out, and Ramon Ramirez, who had to be bailed out last night, is going to try and bail out Mejia tonight. Facing the hottest Mariners hitter in this series, Jose Lopez, who swings over the changeup. 2 hits for Lopez, both RBIs for Seattle. That was way back in the first inning against Gil Mesh. And Lopez 7 for 10 in the series.
Not just hot this series, this multiple hit game tonight is his 51st of the year. That ties Ibanez for second on their club. Only Ichiro has more multiple hit games than Ibanez and Lopez.
And both of those guys are on base for Lopez. Suzuki, who got his 3rd hit of the game in this inning, giving him 200 hits in 8 straight years, tying a major league record. Ibanez is also singled. He's at first with 1 out. Again, the changeup, and Lopez is out in front. Only 4 Mariners have faced Ramon Ramirez before this series, and one of them is Jose Lopez, but just one at bat, 0 for 1. Chance for 2. Aviles, Callaspo, Sheely with the dig. 2 hits for the Mariners, but they bounce into their 3rd double play, and they're scoreless in the 8th.
How do you want to see the game? You want to be closer? Well, this is no ordinary ticket. This is your ticket to baseball heaven in high definition. Sharp Aqua's the official HD TV of Major League Baseball. And with a blazing 4-millisecond response time and a super fast refresh rate, there isn't a shot in the hole or a screamer down the line that will singe the hair in your nostrils. It will change your baseball-loving life.
Aqua's LCD TV. Change your TV, change your life. Sharp.
Are you an adrenaline junkie? At Grind TV on Yahoo Sports, you can submit your own videos or watch the pros in action. Check out the most outrageous, untamed, and awe-inspiring sports videos on the web, surfing, skateboarding, motocross, and so much more. For the sickest action sports videos, check out Grind TV on Yahoo Sports.
Game hitting streak and 95 RBIs on the year. And now it's Billy Butler, Mark Teahen, and John Buck. By the way, all 3 of those runs in the 7th inning were unearned because of an error on what could have been a double play ground ball hit to Yuniesky Betancourt by Alberto Callaspo. So the Mariners don't turn the double play. In fact, they don't even get an out on that ground ball. And then in the top of the 8th inning, with the Mariners threatening, the Royals do turn the double play.
So the Mariners, in the back of their minds, are saying they gave the Royals 5 outs in that 7th inning.
Tough hop for Tuiasa Sopo over at third base, but throws out Billy Butler. That's the second good play he's made on a Butler ground ball tonight. And Billy is 0 for 3. And now Mark Teahen, he's 0 for 3. Cleveland in front of Minnesota. Chicago has already lost. A chance for Minnesota to pick up a game. And Tampa way out in front of Boston. Looks like they're going to have a 2-game lead with just 10 games to go, 10 days to go after tonight.
The skipper's mohawk is working. Can you
The
see him
rally
in a
hawk.
mohawk? He looks like a professor.
He's got those black rim glasses. They're not you know, the old-fashioned horn rim glasses. They're kind of rectangular shaped. So that with the mohawk,
It's got to be a great look.
yeah, and it worked.
You know, if you could get it painted maybe orange for tomorrow.
Sure. Well, you don't want to mess with it. I mean, why?
They'll stay a step ahead of the opposition. They don't know what to expect that way.
Meanwhile, as the Red Sox are trying to pass the Rays with time running out, maybe Terry Francona, well, he can't have a mohawk. All that hair's gone.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, that head's shaved.
Can you do a reverse? Get it on the sides?
Called third strike. Teahen is out number 2 in the bottom of the 8th inning. Only 10 days to go, but remember, you can stay in form for the rest of the regular season and through the playoffs with MLB.com. Royals text alerts. Customize your alerts with news, game summaries, scores, and now video. Sign up by texting Get Royals to 65246 or go online at MLB.com/mobile. John Buck started the 3-run rally in the 7th inning with a single to center field. He came home on Mike Avila's half swing ground out with the bases loaded that tied the game, and then Guillen scored Callaspo and DeJesus to put the Royals out in front. 2-1 from Batista. Guillen's hit coming with 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th inning. Royals getting Jose Lopez to ground into an inning double play in the bottom of the 8th, and Split was talking about that's a formidable first 4 hitters in the lineup. But Joaquim Soria is going to face Jeremy Reed, Vladimir Valentin, and Matt Tuiasosopo in the top of the 9th.
The Mariners don't have a lot of veteran depth on their bench now because of some injuries and moves that they've made on their roster. Miguel Cairo would be available for pinch hitting duty.
Buck into left center field, has his second hit of the game, and Reed misplays it. Buck is going to end up at second base with his 22nd double. That ball really fooled the center fielder Reed.
Looked like this ball was going to die in left center field. Reed was going to be able to cut it off. It's out near the end of the bat. It's another slider from Batista. The previous pitch was also a slider out of the strike zone that John chased a bad pitch, but able to stay with this one. Misplayed in center field. Buck reaches with his second hit. Third time he's been on base tonight. Had thoughts of going to third, but whoa, hold on there, big fella. Let's not get too excited.
Callaspo up the middle, and Betancourt can't get this one. So the misplay is going to give the Royals some insurance. Callaspo drives home Buck, and it's 5-2 in the 8th inning.
Brian, when the Royals were having their tough month of August, how many times did we see that? Make a mistake, comes back to bite you probably in that same inning, and Mariners doing some of that here tonight. You see why they have struggled recently, having lost 8 out of their last 10. Make a mistake, sure enough, that next pitch or two, there's the base hit. It's going to get the Royals another run. They now lead it by 3.
Callaspo now is an 11-game hitting streak with that 2-out single. And the Royals have scored 4 of their 5 runs tonight with 2 outs. So they continue to swing the bats well. And tonight, even though they've had some help from Reed in this inning, Betancourt in the last inning have gotten some clutch hits. Joey Gathright is going to hit for Esteban Herman. Earlier in the year, Split with Gathright getting a lot of starts and maybe a left-hand pitcher on the mound late in the game. It would be Herman batting for Gathright, but lately Herman's been getting most of the playing time in the outfield, and Gathright bats for him.
Get a lead late, you want to go to the stronger defensive player.
And now Jim Riggleman walks slowly out of the third base dugout. The Mariners want a lefty to pitch to Gathright, but that lefty apparently wasn't quite ready. Needed a few warm-up tosses, so after a throw over to first base to keep Callaspo close, Batista comes out, and left-hander Justin Thomas in to face Gathright.
Out of Youngstown State. A Fighting Pan.
That's the alma mater of Jeff Davenport, who we spent some time talking about tonight, who has effectively turned Raul Ibanez into a slump in this series. Gathright batting for Herman, who walked, singled, and dropped down a bunt, which helped the Royals in their 3-run 7th inning. Cayaspo at first base with 2 down. 1 ball, 1 strike on Gathright. Joaquim Soria just standing on the mound in the Royals bullpen, ready to come in, scheduled to face the 5, 6, and 7 hitters, and unless the Royals had a run in the bottom of the 8th inning, will be going for his 3rd consecutive save in this series. Two and 1 to Gathright.
A lot of Major League players really don't like the month of September because you see a lot of players for the first time, and there's a feeling of comfort with familiarity with your opponents. A little bit on edge now when you go against a guy for the first time.
Now 3 balls, 1 strike. With 2 outs and nobody on, John Buck appeared to have a single to left center field, misplayed by Reed into a double. Cayaspo singles him home, and now Gathright walks on 5 pitches, bringing up David DeJesus. Now Jim Riggleman, who's worn out quite a path between the third base dugout and the mound, have to visit with the young lefty Thomas before he pitches to DeJesus.
The fact that he just trots out to the mound right there, probably an indication he'll stay with this pitcher, just delivering a message, trying to get him back in the strike zone.
Tonight's copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Kansas City Royals, may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals. Ryan Lefebvre with Paul Splittorff and Joel Goldberg, with producer Kevin Shank, director Will Belke, associate producers Al Broughton, Morgan Kramer, and the rest of our Kansas City-based FSN crew. DeJesus doubled in the first inning. Royals couldn't get him around to score, and then intentionally walked in the 7th inning. Scored on the 2-out, 2-run Guillen single. Now 1 ball, 1 strike from Thomas.
Ryan, you asked me a couple innings ago, when a left-handed pitcher has trouble with left-handed hitters, what does that tell you? And without seeing him a whole lot, the first thought was he's really not deceptive, and the second thought is he's probably pitching to one side of the plate all the time, whether it be away or in. And that way, left-hand hitter picks up the pitch, and you go and kind of guess with it, pitch him away, play him away, or you look to turn on something inside. You're able to kind of think along with him. Guy that can balance it out, work both sides, or you're going to have an advantage lefty against lefty.
Two and 1 on DeJesus. Turns on that breaking ball, but that's going to hook foul. Didn't quite have home run distance. DeJesus still the Royals leader and one of the best in the league with runners in scoring position. After that average dipped down into the 380s, DeJesus warming up again and batting at a clip better than 400 with runners in scoring position. That's the 2nd best in the American League. Cayaspo at 2nd, Gathright at 1st.
David's RBI is almost even with what they are runs scored. 69 runs driven in. He scored 64 times.
Going to line out to Lopez to end the 8th inning, but the Royals get an insurance run for Joakim Soria as we go to the 9th with the Royals in front by 3.
Create your own baseball collectible using your own photos. It's easy. Simply upload your photo, choose a product and design, and place your order. Choose from a wide variety of official MLB photo gift products from every Major League Baseball team. Prints, mugs, magnets, mouse pads, clocks, coasters, and more. Create a collectible you will cherish for years to come. Go to the photo store on MLB.com. In 3 easy steps, you can make your very own MLB memory. Go to the photo store on MLB.com today.
Field goes into right, and Joakim Soria to face Jeremy Reed, Vladimir Valentin, and Matt Tuiasosopo. And strike 1 to Reed. 1 for 3 tonight with a couple of strikeouts.
Didn't see Soria a whole lot in the month of August. He's been busy in the month of September. 61st appearance overall. He's missed on only 3 save opportunities. Pitched in an inning here on Monday night. Picked up a strikeout. Got him 1-2-3. Same story here last night. A 1-2-3 inning with the strikeout. Did not pitch Sunday, but he picked up his 37th save of the year in the second game on the Saturday night split doubleheader. He pitched 2/3 of an inning that night against the Indians.
Boy, that came up and hit him in the face. Reaching for a breaking ball. Took a wicked hop. Got Jeremy Reed on the left side of the face. The Mariners have their athletic trainer on the top step, but Reed says he's okay.
What happens is when they reach out, their face gets out over home plate right there. You see him leaning, and that ball hit him coming across the top. It's got a little sideways spin on it, so it bounces into him. That hitter one time when I was in the minor leagues broke his nose on a very similar play to that. Reached out on a pitch away. Ball went off the plate, caught him right underneath the nose, took his feet right off the ground.
Was there a lot of blood?
Didn't go that close. Walked off to the backside of the mound. That's why they have those head athletic trainers, to take care of those situations.
One of your teammates, or were you pitching?
No, I was pitching.
Oh, okay.
Turned into a teammate, though. Joe Nosick was playing in the Indians organization at the time. Ended up coming over here to be a coach.
Oh,
there's a name for you.
Sure. Very skilled at stealing signs.
Stealing signs, yeah.
Off the plate again. Sheely trying to get it to Soria. Got him. Tough play for Sheely. Tough play for Soria.
Ryan, what you try to do on this is get the ball to the pitcher quickly so he can get the ball and get to the corner bag. Here, I think Soria is going to get the corner of the bag and then get the ball. That both happens about the same time, but he gets right next to the base, so all he has to do is drop that right foot. See him look at the base right there? That was his last look. He knew he had to make the play on the ball, so basically goes to get the bag. There he is, the quick glance. Not go find the baseball. Hope you found that inside edge.
And now Miguel Cairo is going to bat for Vladimir Ballantyne, but that didn't last very long. A pop up to Aviles at shortstop, and 2 down.
K-Rod with a new American League record in saves with the 58 for the Los Angeles Angels. And 4 guys bunched in after that, so you're right in the middle of it.
And another pinch hitter will be Tug Hewlett. Matt Tuiasosopo was 0 for 3. Don't forget, immediately after the game, stay tuned for Boulevard Royals Live with Joe Goldberg and Royals Hall of Famer Frank White, brought to you by Boulevard Brewing Company, Kansas City's beer. Tug Hewlett, the son of former Major Leaguer Tim Hewlett. Past Soria, but there's Callaspo. Royals have won the first 3 games of this series and 6 in a row. Now the Royals have positioned themselves for a 4-game sweep. They haven't done that since taking 4 from the Detroit Tigers 3 seasons ago. So Gilmesh giving up just 2 runs, but those 2 runs coming in the first inning, split and then pulled everything together.
Really did a nice job of holding the Mariners down the rest of the way. Went deep enough into the ball game to give his offense a chance to pick him up. Royals scoring 3 times in the bottom of the 7th inning. Nice win for Trey Hillman and his ball club. First of all, it extends that nice winning streak, but also it's a ball game that you trailed on the scoreboard most of the evening. So when you can come from behind late and walk out of here with a win, those are especially satisfying.
Royals with a 3-run 7th inning, 2 RBIs for Jose Guillen, and an insurance run in the 8th on a base hit from Callaspo, and that's plenty of insurance for Joakim Soria, who saves his 40th game of the season with a 1-2-3 9th inning. Royals win it. Time now for Boulevard Royals Live.